When I first started this challenge, I gave myself two rules. I don't know why I put up one. I have two rules. I cannot give up, and if I needed to and or wanted to, I could swap out books for certain letters. And that is what we're going to do today. So, in the last video, I talked about how I wanted to switch out one of the letters or one of the books for that specific letter, and that was our O book. In this video, we're going to be reading M, N, and O. And I have all three of the books here. All of them I have physically. Two of them I'm going to read on my Kindle because one of them, no, two of them I'm going to read on my Kindle because they're both on Kindle Unlimited. And then the other one I'm going to physically read. So, first book for this video will be Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. And this is a paranormal fiction book. It says a classic Blake romp of dry humor, urban fantasy that plays with our world and tells relationship-driven stories in a swirl of fantastical world building. Okay, so we'll talk more about this later, but that's our M book. Our next book is Night of the Witch by Sarah Rash. Rahash. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. And then Beth Revis. And I saw this book at Target. And I didn't really care what it was about. I wanted it because of the sprite edges. And I think that there's a witch. A witch should never fall for her hunter. Ooh. Okay, wait a minute. It says Night of the Witch is an irresistibly compelling page turner distinguished by vivid descriptions and fascinating magic systems and crackling chemistry between the two leads. We have an enemies to lovers. Oh, okay. So that's our N book. And then our O book originally was going to be Oathbound. But I decided I didn't want to read a 700-page book. And Oathbound is the second to last book in the Legendborn series. So originally the Legendborn series was supposed to be 5 books, but Tracy Deonn took 5. And now it's 4 books. So there's Legendborn, Bloodmarked, Oathbound, and then there's going to be whatever the last book is. And I'm just not willing to put myself through that right now. So I'm probably going to read that book when the 5th book is like closer to coming out. That Oathbound just came out, like not even, like came out like a couple months ago, I think. So it's been a while. So instead, we're going to be reading a book by an author that we've already read. And that is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Now, this book has been on my TBR for a long time. Actually, all 3 of them have been on my TBR for a really long time. And I'm really excited for all of them. I feel like all of them are probably going to be somewhere between 4, maybe 5 stars. I guess it'll depend on how I feel about them and what the vibes are when we start reading. But yeah, that's what we got going on. So with that being said, I think we're just going to start because I am really excited for Masters of Death. So let's just jump right in. Okay, so Masters of Death is by Olivia Blake, and it is a paranormal fiction. And I found this, I didn't find it. Well, I did find it. I found this at Target, and it had sprayed edges. And I said, you know what, you're coming home with me. So let's talk about this book. So we have Viola Merrick. She's a struggling real estate agent and a vampire, okay? But her biggest problem currently is that the house she needs to sell is haunted. The ghost haunting the mansion has been murdered. Awesome. And until he can solve the mystery of how he died, he refuses to move on. Okay, that's fun. And then we have Fox Demora, who is a medium. And though he is almost most definitely a shameless fraud, he isn't entirely without his uses, seeing as he's actually the godson of death. Okay, and then Viola seeks out Fox to help her with this ghost infestation. He becomes involved in the quest that neither he nor Viola expects or wants, but with the help of an unruly poltergeist, okay, a demonic personal trainer, and a sharp-voiced angel, a love-stricken reaper, and a few mindfulness practicing creatures, V and Fox, Viola and Fox, soon discover that the difference between mysterious They soon discover the difference between a mysterious lost love and an annoying dead body isn't nearly as distinct as they thought. Okay, so we're gonna have like a little bit of a kind of like it said, like urban fantasy, but with like humor in it. I've already read the first chapter. I read the first chapter on my Kindle. I guess it's the prologue. Yeah, the prelude. So this is a table of contents. And this book is around 338 pages. So not a very long book. As you can see, it's not very big. And I'm pretty sure this book is just a standalone. I have another book by Olivia Blake, and it's called The Atlas Six. I think I have The Atlas Six and The Atlas Complex. Whatever one is the second one, I have the first one and the second one. But, yeah, I think I'm going to start this now because I don't really have anything else I need to do. I got my math homework done for the week, so I'm all set on that. My mom and my brother are not home right now, and they're probably not going to be home all night, so I can just probably read most of the day. So I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I am now on chapter 9 of Masters of Death, and we have officially met all of the characters. And I am kind of having a little bit of a time with this book. I don't hate it. Actually, I don't hate it at all. I don't know why I said that. But I'm really getting into it the more I read it. Shocker. So, let me introduce you to the characters. Viola Merrick, who is a vampire and a real estate agent. And then there's Fox, who is the godson of death. There's Cal, who is a soldier of God. What's the one lady's name? Mayra. Mayra is, I think she's an angel. And then there's Isis, who is Viola's best friend. And she is a demon, so that's fun. And then there's Tom, who is the ghost that we're trying to get rid of. And they're all going to kind of go in and figure this out together because everybody's curious about this ghost situation. And it's going to be a little bit of a funny time. I'm really excited for how this book is going to go. Okay, so I am on chapter 22 of Masters of Death. This chapter is called The Arrival. So, I don't really know how to describe the plot and what's going on, but there's a game. And to get what they want back, they have to play this game. And they nominated Fox, who is the godson of death, to play this game against this demon king. And that's all you need to know. It's a lot. I really like this book. It is unlike anything I've ever read, ever. The characters really do make the book. I am in love with Brant, and I love Tom, and I love Fox. I love everybody in this book. But yeah, the characters... top tier. I think I really like the writing style as well. At first, it was a little hard to follow along, and then things got really complicated for a minute. And then it was really, really hard to follow along, and then it kind of simmered out, and it made a little bit more sense. So we just arrived to the game, right? And before that, we learned a little bit of backstory about how Fox and Brant met, and how Fox met his guardian angel, Mayra, and how he met the Reaper, Cal, and how we got where we are now. And I really like that little tidbit. It was a really good idea to put those couple chapters of us finding out more about Fox in between them kind of going from one place to arriving at the games. I'm about 60% of the way through. I am listening to the audiobook, and I love the audiobook. Top tier. Specifically because I felt like the audiobook made it easier to... I feel like the audiobook makes it easier to follow along. So if you have a chance to read this book, I suggest listening to the audiobook and following along. I'm actually reading this on like 3 platforms. I'm reading it on like physically, and I'm reading it on my Kindle, and then I'm listening to it. So yeah, I think as of right now, I'm going to take a little break from reading this. I have some homework I need to do. So I will get back to you when I have finished the book or if I have a little bit of an update to tell you. Oh my God. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so we have officially finished our M book for this video, Masters of Death. And I actually finished this like an hour ago, but I had to get on my Zoom class. So I hurried up, finished the book, put it on my Goodreads, put it on my Notion, put it on my Storygraph, put it on my Fable, and then I got on my Zoom call. So I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I loved it. The ending, genius. I think this book is really fun, especially like it reads like there's supposed to be like multiple books after it, but it had a happy ending and I really enjoyed it. I think this was a good way to be introduced to Olivia Blake because I really want to read her other book, The Atlas Six, and that's a series. Like I think it's the Atlas Six, the Atlas Complex, and then the Atlas Paradox. Now that we're finished with this book, I can real quick while I have you here. Together, we are going to update my chart because I have not shown you my chart in a long time. I don't know why. This is what our chart looks like. I don't know where it is on the screen, but it's on the screen. We have all of our books that we have read. So there we go. There's that. So we have all the books A through M on our chart. Okay, so now that we finished Masters of Death, we are going to start our end book, which is Night of the Witch by Sarah Rash and Beth Rivas. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm so sorry. It's just going to be Rash. Sorry. And this is book 1 of a series. I think book 2 is out, but it's not in paperback. So let's read the back and be prepared for me messing up words. I never said I was a professional, like, out loud reader. Only up here I'm a good reader. Anyway, Fritzia, I think it's Fritzy. Fritzy is a witch, the lone survivor of a brutal attack on her coven. She's determined to find her only remaining family member and bring the Zealot witch hunters to justice for the lives they ended. To do this, she will need to take down their leader, the merciless, enigmatic commandant Dieter Kirch. Okay. Otto is a witch hunter, but that's just his cover. Years ago, they burned his innocent mother alive and has been plotting his revenge against the people who tore his family apart ever since. And now the time has come for them to pay for what they've done. Okay, so he is a witch hunter and she's a witch. When Fritzy and Otto are unexpectedly thrown together, neither is sure they can trust the other. The reluctant truce fueled by their own common enemy that takes them from the city at the heart of the witch hunters. There's another name for it, and I'm not going to even try to pronounce it, so you're getting witch hunters. At the heart of the witch hunter's power to the wild and mysterious Black Forest. As old truths come to light and new dangers are revealed, Fritzy, I think that's her, I feel like that's wrong, but it might be right, and Otto uncover a horrifying plot at the center of the witch hunter attacks, or the witch attacks. But their own growing feelings for each other may be the most powerful magic of all. I fear I might like this book. I'm going to be really disappointed if I don't. So, I think I'm going to read this book on my Kindle and also read it, like, physically. I guess it'll just depend on how I feel. So, I think I'm going to eat my dinner and I'm going to read. So, I am on chapter 5 of Night of the Witch. I don't know why I forgot the book name. I have been reading it on my Kindle and physically. I also think, and I know I said I wasn't going to do this, I think I'm going to listen to the audiobook because I found it on Spotify, and I like listening to audiobooks specifically when I'm doing my homework or when I'm just like chilling in my room and I just don't feel like picking up a physical book, or when I'm out on my walks, because I do morning walks with my dog, or I try to do them every morning unless it's like raining or something. So we're probably going to go on one today because it's actually really nice outside. We have so far just kind of gotten a little bit of background information from Fritzy and Otto. So Otto is the witch hunter and Fritzy is the witch. And Fritzy's entire coven just all got murdered, and Otto is a part of the biggest like commandment of witch hunters there is, and he recently just like arrested his sister on suspicion that she might be a witch because she talks to mice, she has a broom by her front door, and then she owns a cauldron. That is it. That's the only reason. Also, this book I think is also technically like historical fiction. Um, but I think this book is technically also historical fiction because of these, like the witch trials and stuff. At least that's what it says on Goodreads. It says that it's like a little bit of historical fiction, paranormal, blah, 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 blah. At least that's what it. Also, this book is a little bit of a historical fiction as well because there's also real world elements in the book as well. It's just obviously fitting the story. So, yeah, I have a feeling that I'm either really going to love this book, or I'm going to have a problem where I'm going to think at times it's a little boring because of how much information I'm going to be getting. I can see that happening. I don't know. Because we've already gotten a lot of information. I'm really happy that we have, even though I don't like him right now, I'm really glad that we have Otto's point of view because in some books where it's a fantasy, like specifically, I hate to bring this up, Lore of the Wilds is what should be like this, where I also really like that we are getting Otto's point of view as well, even though he's a witch hunter and he hates witches and despises them, and he is kind of falling for that propaganda. They don't really tell us why. Well, they do. They said that witches are cursed by demons and witches are actually demons. And to kill the demon inside the witch, you need to burn them at the stake, which I think is not exactly productive. You just want reasons to do bad things. I'm really glad that we have his point of view, though, because I feel like it's very important. And while I like Fritzi, I feel like this book would be very boring with just her point of view. Again, I'm only 5 chapters in, so I don't freaking know. But yeah, so I'm going to get ready to go on my walk because my dog is going to start whining at me that he wants to go on a walk. So I better hurry up and do that. It is the next day. And I have read up to chapter 37. No, yeah, I'm on chapter 37. This says I'm on chapter 35 because I switched between the Kindle and the physical book. So I think as of right now, the book is going to be maybe 3 or 4 stars, depending on how it ends. Usually, if it has a good ending, I'll bump it up to 4 stars. But as of right now, it's looking like a 3-star. While the book is good and the lore is really good, I love the little magic system they have. I love the main characters and stuff like that. This book is a little boring. And I think that's just, well, it's boring and it's a little underwhelming. And I think those, honestly, are the only issues that I have with it. It's not a bad book by any means. Like, everything makes sense. The pacing is okay. The story makes sense. I like I like the relationship between Otto and Fritzi. I love Liesel, who is a little girl. I like that. I just think that this book is a little like, okay, well, that's nice. And it's just a little underwhelming. Also, I will say that this book did not have to be this long. I think, like, it could at least benefit from being a little shorter. I don't think it needs to be 400-something pages. It could have just been, like, 350, maybe. Yeah, I think the book itself is like 416 pages altogether. So yeah. So I think I'm going to get through this book today and I will check back in with you when I have finished it. Okay, so we have officially finished Night of the Witch by Sarah and Beth. And I like this book. It was very interesting. It has this witchy vibe that I really like. I like the main characters. I felt like they fell in love a little too fast, but besides that, it was an okay book. Also, it was a little boring and a little underwhelming, but the end, that ending, they kind of ate that. So it did end up getting 4 stars. I probably will read the second book. The second book is, what is it called? I know what it's called. The Fate of Our Magic, I think. And it's kind of like this, except for it's pink. And even if it's not a great book, I do want that cover if it's anything like this one, because this cover is gorgeous. Anyway, we are done with that, and now we can finally start our O book. So, as you guys know, I switched out Oathbound with Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. We've already read a book by Stephanie Garber. We read Caraval by Stephanie Garber, which was our C book in the very beginning, and I think I ended up giving that, I'm looking right now, I ended up giving Caraval 3 stars when I read it. It was okay, but the storyline was very disconjointed and confusing. And I've heard people say that they like the Once Upon a Broken Heart series way more than they like Caraval. It's just superior. So I'm very excited to get into it. So we have our main character, Evangeline Fox, and she's always believed in true love and happy endings and stuff until she learns that the love of her life will marry somebody else. That's always the best news you can receive, if you ask me. Desperate to stop the wedding, Evangeline strikes a deal with the charismatic, immortal Prince of Hearts. But she's soon to discover that bargaining with the Prince of Hearts is a dangerous game. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy. I'm excited for this. I also own the second book. I own Ballad of Never After. And then The Curse of True Love just recently came out on paperback. And the day that I was going to get it, I actually didn't end up getting it. Anyway, so with that being said, I kind of want to just start this now. And I think I will. It says, for anyone who has ever made a bad decision because of a broken heart. It has a map. Look at that. Map. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so excited. Oh my God. Okay, I gotta go. I'm gonna read this now. I understand this is a weird angle, but the lighting in here sucks when it starts to get dark. I am on chapter 11 of Once Upon a Broken Heart, and let's talk about what's going on. So, we have our main character, Evangeline. Evangeline, she's desperate. She is heartbroken. She finds out that the man that she was in this kind of secret little affair with is actually in love and engaged to somebody else. And that somebody else is her stepsister, Marisol T. And so she calls on the Fates, in this case, Jax, who is the Prince of Hearts. Yeah. And she's like, hey, I need you to stop this wedding. And he's like, okay, I got you. And he turns everybody in the bridal party and the guest party and the party in general into stone. And she's like, that's not what I meant. And he's like, you weren't specific. That's not my fault. And so she's like, well, if I want to take their place because she's like, well, I want to take their place. So I'll turn into stone and then Luke will save me because he loves me and we're in love and he's not in love with Marisol. And he said, that's not a good idea. You probably shouldn't do that. And so she drinks this thing and she turns into stone for like a couple weeks because nobody goes and saves her. Oh my God, it's embarrassing. So she gets out and she's a hero. She sacrificed herself for this family who, well, not a family, her family, because, well, and then when she is turned into stone for about a couple weeks. I think it says like 3 weeks. And nobody saved her. Oh, I'd be livid. I would be livid. Also, my shadow is cracking me up back there. But nobody saves her. So she gets out and she is in this lab. And then they're like, okay, bye. On your way. And then she's some kind of hero. She has like a welcoming party. Everybody loves her. And it's because people think that she is the hero who saved the regular people from the Fates. And the Fates are like gods. And they like to cause mischief and chaos and drama. And her doing that made them look bad. So they are all on her side. And we now just got invited by my besties from Caraval, from the Caraval series, which I think I was supposed to read Caraval book 1, 2, and 3, and then start with What a Broken Heart. Because Donatella and, what's her name? Scarlet. Donatella and Scarlet are in this book, and they're empresses. Not sure how. So, I don't think it matters. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I think either way, it doesn't matter either way, because if you read this book first, they would be empresses. But Caraval is their story. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I am on chapter 11. Like I said, I'm on part 2. Part 2 is called The Magnificent North. So, the reason why Donatella and Scarlet are in this book is they need the hero, Evangeline, to go to this ball and basically sign up, I guess, to be Apollo's wife. And Apollo is a prince. What does it say? What does it say? I remember seeing the, no. I can't find it. Okay, it says, in honor of His Highness Crown Prince Apollo Titus Acadian, you have been summoned to the magnificent North to attend Nocatut Neverending. Festivities begin on the first day of winter, and they will not end until Prince Apollo has found his bride. So, actually, Evangeline is going in their in their absence. She's going instead, and she's taking Marisol because Marisol is actually really nice and sweet, and she's not like this evil stepsister. She's kind of timid and shy, and funnily enough, we have a wicked stepmother who is very controlling towards Marisol. And so Evangeline and Marisol are going to go to this like a fun ball thing. I don't know how long it's going to be, but they're going together, and it's going to be a fun girly trip, I guess. So yeah, I wanted to get that little update in real quick because I'm going to go take a shower, and I think I'm going to read some more tonight. I'm enjoying this book so far, though. Obviously, I won't shut up about it. It's fun. I think I'm way more into this than I remembered. I think I'm way more into this than I was Caraval. Like, Caraval had a very strong start, don't get me wrong, but it kind of fizzled out. Again, we are only on chapter 11, so who knows what's going to happen, but I think I like this a little better than I like Caraval. And I don't think that's very unpopular because a lot of people feel that way. Anyway, I gotta go. All right, so I am in the middle of chapter 28 of Once Upon a Broken Heart. I think I'm on page 191. Yep, 191. Right in the middle. This is a fairly long chapter, so I thought I'd stop and like update you before I continued reading. Actually, so far, I think this is one of the longest chapters. But yeah, most of the chapters in this book are not very long. They're about 4, maybe 5 pages sometimes. I am liking this book so far. I think I'm liking this way more than I liked Caraval, which is not an unpopular opinion, by the way. I think a lot of people feel like Once Upon a Broken Heart is just the better series in general, and I think it's because of the way this flows. Caraval starts off really well, but like loses itself somewhere in the middle. In this book, we're kind of already in that middle part, and I don't feel lost. I don't feel confused about the storyline. I feel like the pacing and the plot make a lot of sense. I feel like I'm catching on a lot better. Caraval was just a lot, and I think that while I liked it, it's not my favorite. I've also heard that Legendary, the second book, is better than the first book. But the general consensus is that this is like the better series. And I can see why. I love our main character, Evangeline. I just like her. She's cute. She's fun. I love her vibe. As of right now, we are, do I really want to say what we're doing and what's happening? Because it's kind of spoiler. Do I really want to tell you exactly? Well, maybe I won't tell you exactly what's happening in the book because I don't want to spoil it. I've been trying not to spoil it as much as possible. I think the last time we talked, I was talking about the fact that Evangeline turned into stone. That was literally like early on. I think that was like chapters, it was like the first 5 chapters, I think. But I'm in chapter 28. Evangeline has gotten herself in quite the predicament. That's what I will say. And she's trying to figure out the people around her and what their motives are, because she's very much like, who can I trust type vibes. And I didn't really think that we were gonna go there. But I'm really excited to see how this book finishes off, because again, Caraval lost itself in the middle. We are about 47% of the way through this book. So we're kind of hitting the halfway mark. And so I really hope it doesn't fall off. Okay, hi. It's been a minute since we last talked, but I have been reading. I just have not been updating you because I just keep forgetting and it's whatever. So, I am about 80% of the way through the book, or 88%. I'm on page 363. I am really close to chapter 50. I think it ends at chapter 54, so not gonna be too long before we finish it. I think my favorite book so far for this video is Masters of Death still. I liked The Night Witch, or The Night of the Witch, but I don't know. Masters of Death just really took me away. I did not expect it to be like that. I also will say I love this. I've said this before in like a different update, but I think I like this way more than I liked Caraval. It's really interesting because I know you're supposed to read all of Caraval before you read Once Upon a Broken Heart, I think. So I think I spoiled some things that are supposed to happen in the Caraval series. I guess I haven't read it, so I don't really know the full context of what happened, but they kind of, like, they talk about Donatella. So yeah, there's Donatella, who is the younger sister, who is the one who went missing in the first book of Caraval. Her book is the second book. So we'll know more about the context of her book when I read it. It's called Legendary, and then the last one is called Finale. And I'm really excited to read both series, but I think Once Upon a Broken Heart is way better than Caraval. I think Caraval is okay. It's not like amazing, but I think it kind of loses itself at some point in the book. Mainly like the end part, or I guess, no, it starts getting a little muddled. Is that the word I want to use? It gets a little confusing in the middle and then kind of tries to tie everything in at the end, and it just doesn't make sense. And because it's got like this kind of a carnival vibe, you don't really know what's real and what's not real, so it's very confusing. I did like it. I didn't love it. I love Once Upon a Broken Heart. I've been just really busy with stuff. I went to the GNX concert on Tuesday. I got a bookshelf, you see. I got a bookshelf. I'm not going to show it off right now. Also, I broke my nail. My nail came off. We don't need to talk about it. I got my nails done for the GNX concert, and I guess it's a good thing that they broke after the concert's already over rather than breaking like a day before. But I did get a bookshelf. I put it together. It's not finished yet. When I put it together, it was very hard to put together. And then I accidentally put the back panel on backwards. So there's like the board part, it's facing the front. So the back black panels are facing the wall. And so now I have this really cool idea to put wallpaper up inside my bookshelf on the back panel where it's facing the front. So it's kind of a happy accident. I have not put it up yet, but I will at some point. But yeah, I have to do that. And so I don't really want to show you my shelves until they're like 100% ready. I just threw my books there. Well, that's not true. I spent like a couple hours because I got bored and I just couldn't look at my bookshelves the way they were for too long. I couldn't keep looking at my bookshelves the way they were because they were messed up, because I just kind of put all my books on the shelf. But I did move some stuff around. I will make an entire video of me like doing like a bookshelf tour and probably putting my bookshelves back after the wallpaper is up. So that's kind of what it looks like right now. Yeah, I have my Lego orchid plant, and then you can see, you can't tell, but this right here, that right there is my Captain America popcorn bowl that I got when I saw Brave New World. But yeah, I think I'm going to try to finish this book today. I'm going to go visit my dad today. I'm going to go see him because I was supposed to see him yesterday for Father's Day, but my sister ended up having to work, and I decided, you know what, why don't we just do it tomorrow? So that's what we're going to do. So once I am done with that, I'm probably going to come home and I'm going to read, and we can probably finish Once Upon a Broken Heart, and then we can be on our next 3 letters, which are P, Q, and R. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. Yeah. So P, Q, and R, we're going to be reading Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. I'm not going to tell you the Q book because I actually ended up switching the Q book. And then we're going to be reading The Red Queen. I'm talking way too much. I'm going to go because I have to do my hair and get dressed because I'm going to be leaving soon. So I will see you guys when I get back. Okay, so it is currently 10 o'clock at night. And I just finished Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. I really liked it. It was very intriguing. I loved the whimsy. I loved the fantasy vibes of it. I loved the idea. It made sense. It was very cohesive, and it was very coherent. I think so far, Masters of Death is still my favorite book of this video. Not that I didn't like the other 2, but I think Masters of Death was just so amazing, and I didn't expect for it to be that good, and it really was. And also, I rated every book in this video 4 stars. So that's not bad. I think it's probably Masters of Death, like I said, Once Upon a Broken Heart, and then it's Night of the Witch. Night of the Witch wasn't bad, but it wasn't like amazing and didn't wow me as much as the other two did, and that's just how it is sometimes. I think I will read the second book of that though, and I definitely will read A Ballad of Never After and The Curse of True Love, which are the other 2 books in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I would say the 3 books that we read were very solid. I can't believe they all got the same rating. I did not expect that. But yeah, I think that's all I have, and I will see you guys in the next video. In the next video, we're going to be reading books P, Q, and R. We're going to be reading The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. The Q book I am keeping a little bit of a secret because I actually switched that book up as well. And then the R book, we're going to be reading Red Queen. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.